So we're here at the booth at NAB, and we are talking with Ned Pyle about Windows performance, particularly with RDMA. So Ned, what would you like to talk about and show us?
I'm going to go through and do a quick demo showing the FIO tool, which is an open source I/O measurement benchmark tool that's pretty commonly used in the industry, and show us on Windows 11 talking to our Fusion SMB server over 100 gigabit Ethernet RDMA networking, and see a little bit of the workload and understand like exactly the kind of performance we're talking about here with Fusion SMB.
And we're remoting to our live system in Finland with this. So
Yeah. So this system right here is actually it's actually fairly old equipment. It's 5-year-old client, 5-year-old server. Fusion's running on Ubuntu 24. The Windows machine is basically it's Windows Server 25. We're treating it like Windows 11 24H2. We've got a drive mapped here to our share. So that's our Linux server running Fusion SMB. And here I am on my Windows box. And I'm going to bring up a command to run, and I'm going to talk about it for a second before I run it. So we're using FIO to this share, doing direct IO, so non-buffered, right through forced unit access IO, with a sequential read workload using 8 meg IO, a 16 queue depth, 16 threads. And we're going to run this for about 30 seconds. It's going to get going, it warms up, and we'll start seeing our raw read performance here. So this is with guaranteed IO, guaranteed write through, style of read and write through, no caching, no buffers, none of that, okay? And we're doing about, mathematically, a little over 20 gigabytes a second. 20.5 gigabytes per second from Windows. So this really demonstrates the power of being able to use SMB over RDMA networking. In this case, I had 2 5-year-old Mellanox ConnectX 5 cards. So not anything approaching a modern RDMA network. And I'm still doing more than 10 gigabytes a second on each of those using RDMA, using multi-channel. Notice how I didn't have to do anything to make that work. If I just send workloads over RDMA, if I send workloads over multi-channel, Fusion SMB just lets it happen. There's nothing configured on the clients. Windows automatically does what it needs to do. We automatically listen for that conversation and just start working. It's very easy to set up and deploy and be able to get these kinds of crazy throughputs.
lovely. Thank you, Ned. That's a great explanation. Thanks. And RDMA is fantastic. So pleased we got it this good. Thank you.
All right, so it's Ned Pyle here. You just finished seeing me do a Windows test of Fusion SMB over RDMA. Now I've got Duncan Beattie who's going to demonstrate from the Mac OS side.
Thanks, Ned. Good stuff. So I'm also remoting back into Finland. So we're here at the NAB Show, and we're remoting back into our servers in Finland. And I wanted to show the kind of performance you get from a very standard tool in media production, which is Resolve. So there are 2 sides to Resolve. There's obviously file creation, and then there's playback. So we've got a couple of projects here. We've got a DPX generate project. So this is 2 4K QuickTime movie files lined up on the timeline, and we're going to go and generate a new timeline and then place that onto the server. So let's go ahead and copy this timeline, and we shall call that timeline 7. And with that is active, go to the render options and go and browse onto our storage. So we're going to a fresh folder. So this is our share. If I flick back to Finder quickly, you'll see here we are, our DPX sequences folder inside our network share, our SMB share. So let's go back over here and go to the DPX7 empty folder, select it, and then we're going to add to the render queue. And over here on the right-hand side, we're going to kick it off to render this job. So we're creating 4K DPX files, and these are 49 megabyte 4K DPX files. Here we're showing the performance on the server. So this is the write performance of a single write from the client. So we're peaking here 3.4, 3.3, anything up to about 3.8 gigabytes a second as this renders files out. So this is really important because you need to be able to have really, really key write performance. And this is just one workstation writing to the server, generating these DPX files, a really, really hefty write. So here we've got 3.4, 3, and we're coming to the end of the job. One of the other things about macOS and running on SMB is folder refresh and how quickly it reads a directory. If I then go back to the server and open up this DPX7 file, you can see how quickly that folder structure is read. It's almost instant. Again, another feature of Fusion is this optimization for reading large files, large folders with 2,600 items in. The second half of this demo is DPX playback. So let's close that project, click the button, and go to DPX playback. So here we have our timeline. This is 5 of those independent streams of DPX. And you'll see here we've got a picture-in-picture. So it's playing all 5. And as I jog and shuttle up and down the timeline, you can see the performance over here being read from the server is instant. 4.5 gigabytes, etc. So the way we demonstrate it is we have a stepped timeline. Back to the beginning, hit play. As the first stream comes in, we've got 1149 megabytes per second. Second stream kicks in, jumps again. Along comes the third. So this is 25 frames a second, 49 megabytes, DPX files, 4K. Up again to the fourth one kicking in, and then the fifth one. At that point, we are now pushing through over 5 gigabytes a second. So 5.2, 5.1, 12.9, 5.2. It'll jump around as it does. So this is an incredible performance over SMB on a Mac with 100 gig Ethernet cards. Crucially, using the Atto NICs. They are a great tool. We're a fantastic Atto partner. We couldn't get the performance out of the 100 gig without their cards. Optimized for Macs, optimized for Fusion, and we're optimized for media. So this is a really good demonstration. Thanks. So yeah, thank you, Ed. You do the Windows side and I'll do the Mac side. But yeah, I mean, it's quite key. You know, I mean, we could also do the FIO one here as well. So let's see what else we can get. So if Resolve is multi-threaded, but we can do the command line stuff you saw from Ned earlier. So we can flick over to terminal and let's see what we're doing here. So this is setting here. So we've got the volumes, the size files. We're doing a read. It's direct. And the actual file size we're testing are 10 megabyte. We're running it for 30 seconds. So exactly the same system we do on the Windows side. So we'll hit the button and off it goes. So over here we can see that we're now pushing 5.9, 6 and upwards.
It's really impressive considering that with Mac we are able to use RDMA. We're just using raw.
Yeah, there's no RDMA, right? I mean, otherwise we'd do 20 gig a second.
Right, these Atto NICs really bring it for us.
They hit 7, 6.9, 7 gig a second there. 760 again.
It's really quite impressive.
Yeah. I think what's key to understand here is that if you're not using Fusion, the maximum you're going to see here is really, if you're lucky on a good day and the wind's blowing in the right direction, maybe 3.4 potentially. But you know, this is 5.4 easily and over 7 gig a second. That's at least double the performance that you can get anywhere else using open source software. Yeah, it's impressive. We love it. We're very proud of it. So,
well, thanks for showing me this stuff, especially knowing DaVinci Resolve because I'm useless at all these media tools.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not very great at building Windows servers or writing Windows Server software. So, you know, we have
our areas.
Yeah. So that's great. I hope these videos are helpful. And if you want to come find out more, go to tuxera.com, click on the industries, down to media entertainment, and that's where you'll find Tuxera Fusion and Fusion SMB.
Awesome. Thanks,
and if you want an evaluation, get in touch.